In a time when the world was shrouded in the long shadow of the Middle Ages, a flicker of light appeared on the horizon. From the heart of Italy, a new dawn broke, not just of art, but of human potential. This was more than just a historical period. It was a revolution of the mind, a cultural rebirth that would forever change the course of civilization. It wasn't just a time of art, it was a rebirth of how we think, see, and imagine. Welcome to the Renaissance. What ignited this extraordinary explosion of creativity and intellect? The seeds were sown at the end of the Middle Ages, a time of profound change. The catastrophic Black Death had reshaped society, and the old feudal structures were beginning to crumble. Then, in 1453, a pivotal event occurred: the fall of Constantinople. As scholars fled the Byzantine Empire, they carried with them a treasure trove of ancient Greek and Roman manuscripts, knowledge that had been lost to Western Europe for centuries. This rediscovery sparked a new philosophy: humanism. Suddenly, the focus shifted from a solely divine-centric worldview to one that celebrated human achievement, intellect, and potential. Man was not merely a subject of God's will, but a creator, an innovator, a master of his own destiny. And just as these ideas began to circulate, a technological marvel arrived that would pour gasoline on the fire: the printing press. At the epicenter of this cultural earthquake was a single city, Florence. This wasn't a kingdom ruled by a monarch, but a republic powered by commerce and ambition. At its heart was the Medici family. They weren't royalty, they were bankers. They funded artists, architects, and thinkers, turning their city into a living museum. Walking through the streets of Florence, you could feel the energy. Wealth fueled art, and art, in turn, fueled a sense of civic pride and intellectual curiosity. New ideas in finance, art, and politics flourished, creating the perfect environment for a rebirth. This fertile ground gave rise to some of the greatest minds in human history. We call them geniuses, but they were more than that. They were polymaths, masters of multiple disciplines who saw no boundaries between art, science, and engineering. There was Leonardo da Vinci, the quintessential Renaissance man. He was a painter of breathtaking beauty, but also a meticulous anatomist, an imaginative engineer, and a visionary inventor. His notebooks are a testament to a mind that never stopped questioning, exploring, and creating. Then there was Michelangelo, the tormented sculptor who could see a figure trapped within a block of marble, and single-handedly painted the heavens on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. His work embodied a divine power, yet was deeply, profoundly human. We have Raphael, whose harmonious compositions and serene Madonnas defined the High Renaissance, and Filippo Brunelleschi, the architect who solved the seemingly impossible puzzle of how to construct the magnificent dome of the Florence Cathedral, a feat of engineering that still inspires AEW today. These individuals, along with countless others, were not just practicing their crafts, they were shattering the limits of what was thought possible. One of the most profound breakthroughs of the Renaissance was the union of art and science. They were not seen as separate fields, but as two sides of the same coin, both quests for understanding the true nature of the world. Artists became scientists. To paint realistically, they needed to understand perspective. Using mathematics to create a three-dimensional illusion on a two-dimensional surface, to sculpt the human form with accuracy, they delved into anatomy, studying the muscles and bones that lie beneath the skin. Leonardo's Vitruvian Man is the perfect symbol of this fusion, a mathematical study of the proportions of the human body that is also a work of iconic art. This scientific approach extended to architecture, with principles of geometry and physics enabling the construction of structures of unprecedented scale and beauty. Art wasn't just about aesthetics, it was a form of knowledge, a way of investigating and representing the world with a newfound sense of realism and order. If humanism was the software of the Renaissance, then Johannes Gutenberg's printing press was the hardware. Before its invention around 1440, books were rare and precious objects, painstakingly copied by hand. Knowledge was the exclusive property of the clergy and the very wealthy. The printing press changed everything. For the first time, books and ideas could be mass-produced quickly and cheaply. The Bible, scholarly texts, and the rediscovered classics of Greece and Rome could now reach a wider audience. This ignited a literacy revolution. Universities flourished, public debate intensified, and knowledge was democratized. An idea born in a Florentine studio could be printed, shared, and debated in London or Paris within weeks. This network of shared information accelerated the pace of change, spreading the ideals of the Renaissance across Europe like wildfire and paving the way for the scientific revolution and the Enlightenment. The impact of this era on the world cannot be overstated. It was a fundamental shift in human consciousness. The Renaissance moved society away from a rigid, hierarchical world governed solely by religious dogma toward one that valued individualism, critical thinking, and empirical evidence. It laid the groundwork for modern science by championing observation and experimentation. The spirit of discovery it fostered didn't just stay in the studio or the library. It fueled the age of exploration, as navigators like Columbus and Magellan set out to chart the unknown world. The emphasis on human worth and civic virtue planted the seeds of modern democratic thought. The world we live in today, our art, our science, our politics, our very belief in progress and human potential was forged in the crucible of the Renaissance. From the art that adorns our museums to the scientific method taught in our schools. The legacy of the Renaissance is all around us. It's in the design of our buildings, the value we place on education, and the relentless pursuit of innovation that drives our technology. It taught us that art and science are intertwined, that curiosity is a virtue, and that the human mind is capable of extraordinary things. It was a time when we look back at the ancient world to find the inspiration to leap forward into a new future. It was a reminder that even after the darkest of ages, humanity has the capacity for rebirth, for renewal, and for greatness. The Renaissance didn't just change history, it changed how we imagine what's possible. It is a timeless testament to the power of human creativity, a story that continues to inspire us to look at our own world and to ask, what will be our rebirth? Like and subscribe to Digital Time Vault for more history.